Hey folks, do you find yourself wondering if you're missing out on some delicious Ashes of Creation information contained in their October livestream about the caravan system, but don't actually have the time to watch the whole thing? Well, here's a succinct summary of all of the new information that was contained within it. So, first things first, the caravan system has three main uses in Ashes of Creation. Number one, moving commodities from node to node, and this is the main way for players to earn gold, certainly through trading. Number two, moving materials and resources. You would move these across node because these are unique to certain areas, and if you're questing or trying to build up one particular node, you need resources from halfway across the map. You're going to go there, you're going to farm those resources, and then the way to get them home to your own node, to your home node, is by moving them through the caravan system. Then the third thing is for the caravan system is the mayor and system generated caravans for node resources for public work projects in nodes. All right, and now no matter what the caravan is moving, a haul is called the cargo, and the use then that's being shown in this stream that I'm playing in the background is moving commodities is use number one, and for means of earning gold for players. Now, in the node where you're starting the caravan, you buy the commodities with a resource called glint. Now, glint is a new name for the old monster certificates. There are different rarities of glint. They're mostly acquired by hunting the creatures or Vera, but there's a couple other ways to get glint as well. And it is the physical form then of the essence. That's what glint actually is. It binds to the character when you pick it up, and it can be sold directly for gold. But there's better profit in buying commodities than using the caravan system sell those commodities in another node. The further away you travel with the caravan, the greater the profit, as the greater the risk, as is a common theme throughout Ashes of Creation. Now, in this stream, they bought the commodities in the hunting lodge. This is a default node building at the level 3 node, the village node stage. I imagine there'll also be numerous buildings that you can buy commodities at, and the commodities will be linked to that building type. For example, in the stream, the main commodity that Stephen actually bought is cured meat, and he bought that from the hunting lodge, so that makes sense. Now, commodities are unique to each biome and to each node, therefore they're worth much more abroad, hence why you travel further, you get more money for them. The exact value depends on the amount of the commodity that was sold at the node that you're selling to in the last 7 days. So again, it's linked into a standard supply and demand system. You then go to the caravansary, another default node building. Here you buy a caravan from a caravan master for gold, which also unlocks a caravan stall. In the stall, you can upgrade the caravan with various components. These impact things such as armor, speed, health, and storage capacity of the caravan, but I'm sure there's more than just those four. You can see those components applied to the caravan in the real world as well. So if you're a caravan hunter, you'll get used to looking at certain caravans and you'll know what traits they have before you even fight them. Now, you can't actually maximize everything, of course, so there is a trade-off for which traits you go heavy into, and you can adapt that to your playstyle. Ultimately, really, you want to tank it up if you're going to fight enemies, or increase its speed if you're going to run from enemies. But there'll be a few different builds that become popular, particularly when you're talking about the amount of storage you need as well. Is going to reduce. Then if you have more storage, it might reduce your armor, reduce your speed. So there'll be a lot of thinking involved in how you actually kit it out. The caravan speed is only actually influenced by the speed stat and not by the caravan cargo weight. The caravan can be upgraded when parked at a stall at any node as well. Okay, so you then click the launch of the caravan, so you then click launch caravan, and it puts a placeable item into your inventory. You then have to find a safe location within the proximity of the node to actually summon this caravan. This pings nearby players that a caravan event is starting, which gives them the opportunity to join in attacking or defending it. The ping radius is impacted by the components of the caravan, and also by players' advancement in the highwayman system for defenders and attackers. Players registered to defend the caravan can't attack it. They can't ninja it at the end or anything like that. And you can register to be in multiple caravan events at once. You will be able to see the player and the guild details for the owner of the caravan while you're deciding whether you want to join it, whether you want to attack or defend or not join at all. Then this starts the event, and it all places flags and boxes then at your location, and it has a cooldown of about 2 minutes before the caravan actually spawns. And this time can also be reduced by various effects, presumably including caravan components. This caravan then spawns with your cargo in it, and hence that's why it needs to be close to the node, hence the proximity requirement to the node. However, if you're spawning an empty caravan, you can spawn it anywhere on the map. However, the time it takes to get to you is actually dictated to by the distance you are from the closest node, because that's where you're kind of calling it from. There's no limit to the amount of caravans that can be spawned in one raid or event group. So you can then drive the caravan to whichever destination you choose. Players can be added to a list by the owner to actually allow them to drive, and the owner activates this list, and it's also time limited, the list. The driver receives a strong buff with a CC block, a crowd control block, and a high damage mitigation, although the actual caravan itself can be slowed and stunned by CCs, but it can't be physically blocked by players. The caravan will just push players on their mounts out of the way if they try and block the road in front of you. Caravans also have abilities that can be selected and improved, such as the ones in the stream that were shown was a big healing over time for the caravan and all the units around it. Sprint ability to get out of danger, and then this thing called a repulsor blast which Stephen was spamming in the live stream, and it was essentially just a big AoE shockwave that sent all of the units, including allies, around it, just fires them away off into the wilderness. The caravan can also be buffed by some ally abilities, but not all of them, and allies will be able to jump on top of the caravan as well, because there's a collision system in place there. The caravans can be destroyed, and also individual caravan components can be destroyed. They can also be repaired if they're only damaged and not destroyed, so that's both for the caravan and the components. Fully destroyed caravans create wreckage. The wreckage can then be looted, and the loot depends on what the caravan cargo was. Commodities will drop the same commodities, and these then need brought home in another caravan by the looters, basically. The resources will drop a stolen form of glint. Both will drop at a reduced amount compared to the cargo that was actually being carried, and then the boxes drop, and boxes can also be broke open, that will further reduce the resources available. There is no plan to have any kind of insurance system in place for caravans or ships, but there is room in the game for players to offer that to each other should they decide to do so. Caravan gets despawned after about 20 minutes after destruction. Roads actually have a speed buff for caravans, which is useful. This can be increased by node policies and relics and other means. There are also caravan components that can improve your off-road as well as your on-road travel speed. There are no road buffs on bridges. Bridges are constructed by mayors and players and can be upgraded for speed themselves. You can also cross rivers by using the raft system, where your caravan transitions to a raft. It's slow to transition but quick with currents on the water, so sometimes that could be worth your while to go that way, particularly if there's bridges and players are likely to PvP at those bridges because they're kind of choke points. It looks like you'll have to choose a logical place to embark and disembark, because you can't drive the caravan over cliffs or through trees or anything silly like that. So the driver's path selection is important, as it takes a bit of time to actually turn the caravan around if you make a mistake or go down the wrong path. There are events that can happen a caravan on its route, such as environmental hazards like a tree falling and blocking the road, that's shown in the stream as well. But also then enemies can spawn, NPCs can spawn and presumably try and ambush your caravan and different events like that. These things happening, and then your choice of components actually will impact the way that you want to proceed. Will you fight them? Will you run from them? Depending on how you have your caravan built up. once you approach your destination node, you actually lose the road buff and you cross a threshold into the node, and then there's a wait time and the caravan despawns. The cargo is then in your inventory and you can sell it in that node. However, you don't have to. You could then caravan them again to another node further away for more profit if you wanted to, or you can hold on to them if you're maybe speculating that they'll be worth more in the future. For example, if the original node they come from gets destroyed, then those bits of materials will become quite rare, or those commodities should I say. You could also buy different cargo at the destination node and run it back to the original node, so you could do the return trip of the same trade route that you're on along if you felt like it was particularly clear, and safe. One thing to note about cargo is there's going to be a strong visual element of someone's caravan cargo to help players to decide whether it's worth attacking or not. And I presume again, the more you do that, the more you attack caravans, maybe the more you'll recognize certain elements of cargo that maybe you're looking. Also, the caravans on the stream were the killer caravans, which I'm showing in the background here. Stephen's is a good bit more advanced than Bucky's is. Stephen's is the one with 2 horses, and it's going a hell of a lot more faster than Bucky's did. Now, other than the caravan system then, there's a few, maybe 5 wee nuggets of bits of information that were released on the stream as well. The first thing and the most important thing, I suppose, is that the next live stream, the November live stream, will actually give us which quarter Alpha 2 is dropping in on, so that'll be very, very interesting. So we can't wait for that next month. Also, number 2, the economic mayor node bids will be a gold sink. The gold pays for mayorship and nothing else. It's not like it can then be spent by the mayor once they become mayor or anything like that. It's not. It disappears. You're paying for the mayorship and that's it. Religious items are bound to players and to the position they're holding, so you have to, obviously you can't move it across players, but you also have to always be holding that position. If you've got, I don't know, say a staff for being the high bishop or whatever they're going to call the religious head of a church, if you lose that position, then you'll lose the staff as well, and the next bishop will get that staff then. Items will have a greater impact on player power at higher adventurer levels, and then NPCs from certain nodes have clothing or sigils from that node. You can't actually get their clothes, like their tabards or anything like that, but you will be able to adjust your own sigil and your own clothes to match should you decide to do so. So, as I say, that's a summary of what I believe to be the most important information that was dropped in the Ashes of Creation live stream for October 2023. I've tried to keep it as concise as possible, but if you like this video or you want to see more of my content, give me a subscribe and a like down below, or any comments to make, work away. But as for now, wherever you are, goodbye and good luck.